Hello and welcome back, and in this episode we're going to continue connections. We have done cabinet of factions, now we will move on to legislation. We have Gloria Tori. Gloria Tori is a Swordish politician member of the Assembly and current Speaker of the Grand National Assembly of Swordland since 1949. She has been a member of the Assembly since 1937. After graduating from Holsword State University, Gloria was elected as the president of the student organization, Republican Youth. She supported the Democratic Revolutionaries and was credited for organizing several major student rallies during the last years of Swordish monarchy. Before her election to the Assembly, she worked at several jobs, including a lobbying firm and a school of public speaking and debating. In 1929, she became a member of the United Swordland National Committee from Vezord. Gloria rose quickly in USP after she was elected to the Grand National Assembly in 1937. She was appointed by a special advisor to the Minister of Interior in 1938, before being brought as the front bench spokeswoman for the Home Affairs in 1942, and the spokeswoman for Education in 1944. In 1949, she was elected as Speaker of the Grand National Assembly in protest against President Alwald Afonso's reformist agenda. She is the first woman in Swordland to hold that position. She was a strong critic of Alwald Afonso's presidency, and she became famed for her obstructions in the Assembly and some of her policies regarded as a charismatic politician and a tough negotiation. She is credited with a major lobbying incidents within the USP, which shifted the political landscape during the last decade. At the 1953 election, she was elected Speaker for a second time. Franz Richter. Okay, we've already read Franz Richter. We've read in Walter Tusk. Okay, Franz Richter. We've read. He is the PFJP. Yeah. So she's the leader of USP. He's the leader of PFJP. He's the leader of the NFP. He's USP Reformist Wing, which is also in our group. He's NFP. He's also PFJP. PFJP, okay. Alright, got it. Cesaro Kibinar. Cesaro Kibinar is a Swordish politician and leader of National Front Party. He has been a member of the Assembly since 1941. He represents the far right in Swordish politics. Despite his views, he's respected by nationalists on both sides of the political spectrum. Before his political career, he was enrolled into the military school and graduated from Holsword State University with an arts degree. An arts degree, Nationalist Front Party. Haha, funny. After briefly pursuing a career as a propaganda artist, he joined the Swordish Armed Forces. Okay, this feels too on brand. Although not verified by the state or himself, he was rumored to be a private who announced General Lutheran's 27 military coup against the government of President Arthur Wincy on radio broadcast, which earned him great fame among the populace. In 1930, he founded the National Front Party together with a group of nationalists from Gien. During the 1930s, he took on a strong stance against immigration during the Wayland Civil War and was blamed by a significant part of the populace for inciting violence in the city streets against Agno-Swordish and Bludish people. He organized countless meetings, panels, and help from nationalist student organizations in the top university in Swordland. He had given notable support to the Young Swords organization from its founding to its expansion in the following years. In 1936, he was elected as the mayor of Gien, becoming the first mayor elected from the NFP. After serving as a mayor until 1940, he was elected as a member of the Assembly in 1941. After the election of 1949, Cesaro was elected as the leader of the National Front and announced his bid for presidency. In 1949, Cesaro survived an assassination attempt, which boosted his popularity more than ever. He claimed the assassin was a Bludish separatist who wanted to erase Swordish identity. In the 53 election, he managed to get the best results of the NFP in its history, effectively becoming the third largest party in Swordland and the Assembly. I mean, yeah, look at that. They're easily the third party. There's really just 3 parties. Which is better than my country, so, you know, I'll take cool. Leader of the USP Reformist Wing. Albin Calvin is a Swordish politician who currently serves as a member of the Grand National Assembly of Swordland since 1949. He's a member of the USP and regarded as the leader of the progressive faction of the party. Albin has recently risen to significance during the Alfonso administration and an aggressive debater and a strong supporter of Awald Alfonso and his policies. He is instrumental in the passing of the free market reforms of Alfonso. He became famed for his controversial speeches in the Grand National Assembly, was labeled as the face of a new generation of the USP by the media. After his session, he joined the calls for Congress to enact a new presidential nominee and abandoned support of Awald Alfonso. Albin nominated himself as the next candidate, but did not get much support in the Congress, which eventually led to the candidacy of Auton Rain. He has been calling for constitutional reforms with the election of Rain. Well, that's I plan, and we have one independent spokesman. Bernard Circus is a Swordish poet, novelist, short story writer, and a communist politician. Oh, he is acclaimed for his lyrical flow and was regarded to be the leader of the Swordish avant-garde. His early writings were heavily influenced by the social, cultural, and economic problems of his home city of Deer. His work earned him the description of a romantic communist. He joined the Red Youth during the Swordish Civil War and fled Swordland after the war was over. Surviving the purge of Torquin's soul, he moved to United Cortana and studied sociology at the Communist University of Kiel. There he was influenced by the artistic experiments of Cortana poets who advanced futurism as well as the ideological visions of Millenniev. Many of his works are regarded as the greatest achievements of Swordish literature and earned many awards abroad. Because of his political views, his works have been banned in Swordland since 1930. In 1950, Bernard returned to Swordland following the departure of Torquin's soul. He organized strikes against Swordish government failure to include amnesty laws and started to become a popular figure in Swordish politics. He ran as an independent in 1950 general election and became the first communist to be elected to the Grand National Assembly of Swordland. Interesting. The deputy of the NFP. Remus Holstorn is a Swordish politician, member of the Assembly of the founding member of the National Front Party, NFP, and its current group deputy chairman. He has been serving in the Grand National Assembly of Swordland since 1937. He is nicknamed the Iron Wall by the NFP supporters. Holstorn is allegedly one of the soldiers who worked under General Lutheran that helped establish the Young Swords. He is believed to have been active within the organization during the Swordish Civil War. He was blamed by the Bludish Freedom Party and the Communist Party of Swordland for having been behind many of the atrocities that took place against the Bludish and the Communists between 1927 to 1930. He has denied such claims and holds no official membership position in the Young Swords. As a founding member of the NFP, he promotes ethno-nationalist policies in the 1930s and became a famous figure for his aggressive speeches in the Grand National Assembly. Kibernir heavily protested against his political stance, saying that Mr. Holstorn and many others in our leadership created an unapproachable and unreasonable political movement which is expected to lose in every election. With the rise of Casoro Kibernir in the 1940s, he lost his influence in the party and resigned in 1949 after Kibernir was voted in as leader. He was later invited by Kibernir to rejoin the party ahead of the 1953 elections, was appointed as the party's group deputy chairman. Deputy of the PFJP. Monali Surhill is a Swordish politician, member of Assembly, and group deputy of chairwoman of the People's Freedom and Justice Party, PFJP. She has been serving in the Grand National Assembly of Swordland since 1949. Saheld has recently risen to significance during PFJP's opposition against President Alfonso's government as an aggressive debater. She was a harsh critic of the free market reforms and became famed for her eternal opposition against Franz Richter for his support of Alfonso's policies. As a staunch anti-Sallist, she was behind the organization of several major protests against Turk and Seoul in the 1940s. She later became renowned for her support of Agno-Sordish and Bloodist minorities. She is regarded to be a leader of the radical progressives within the PFJP and holds enormous influence among the leftist members of the party. She is highly critical of Franz Richter's support for economic liberal policies, arguing he is pulling the party away from social democracy. Sohail was allegedly blackmailed numerous times by the party leadership for a radical stance, yet was offered to be the spokesperson of PFJP by Franz Richter after a steep rise in her popularity. She's been a group deputy chairwoman of the PFJP since 1953. Alright, interesting. And now we have the judiciary, which I believe we have already seen. New and current Chief Justice. Yeah, we've seen the Chief Justice. There's the majority. I think so. I don't actually. I feel like we have, but I don't remember where we would have. But I feel like we have. I don't. Oh. Orso Hawker. Yep, there you are. The old art. Yep, we have seen you. Okay, so we just see 4 of them here. Probably the 4 important ones. 2 old guards, 1 centrist, and 1 reformist. Harun Garassi. Harun Garassi is a jurist and politician who is currently serving as a justice of the Supreme Court. He also served as the Minister of Justice and Law from 1945 to 1949. Before his political career, Harun studied law at the Imperial Markian University and later pursued a military career. As part of the King's Army, he held the rank of lieutenant until the dissolution of the monarchy in 1923. Oh, this guy was like lieutenant of the King's Army. Interesting. First person we're really seeing having like influence in the kingdom. Due to his marriage with the sister of General Lutheran, he was implicit to the military coup of 1927 and the Sword Civil War, but investigations were dropped during the Turk and Seoul term as presidency. He joined the USP and became a member of the Assembly in 1929. He was a strong supporter of Turk and Seoul and the establishment and became one of the leading members of the USP. He previously served as the Speaker of the Assembly and advisor to President Turk and Seoul. In 1945, he was appointed as Minister of Justice and Law by the President after Turk and Seoul's resignation in 1949. Edward Alfonso tried to isolate him within the party. In the same year, he was appointed as Justice to the Supreme Court. He became infamous for his obstructive methods against President Edward Alfonso and his policies. Isabel Edmonds. Isabel Edmonds is a swordist jurist who has been serving as Justice of the Supreme Court of Swordlands since 1949. She's both the youngest person to serve in the High Court of Appeals and the first woman to serve in the Supreme Court. After graduating from the Hulsord State University, Fictoria Law, she began her career as a judge, serving the cities of Carnat and Guzzlord. She later became a servicery judge in the High Court of Appeals in Hulsord, later becoming a member in 1940. In 1949, she was appointed as a Justice of the Supreme Court by Ewald Alfonso, becoming the first woman to hold the position. Edmonds is regarded as a firm believer in democracy and secularism, and has spoken out against the oppression on Seoul's state apparatus numerous times. She is known to hold anti-communist and socially conservative views. Nia Morgana. Nia Morgana is a politician and attorney from the Swordish region of Bergia, who served as a Minister of Justice and Law. She became a member of the United Swordland Party in 1949 and served as Vice President of Justice during Alfonso's administration. Before her political career, she worked as attorney in Deir and also taught law in Deir University of Culture. Although she came from a wealthy family, they lost their asset. Okay, I've actually already read this one, I think. Where have I read you? I don't remember, but I feel like yeah. No? Where did I read you? I don't remember, but Yeah, I did read you. Okay, there, yeah. Yeah, I was like, I feel like I've read this one, and I did read that one. So I actually had already read half of these Supreme Court ones just from reading other things. But yeah, that is the connections. And now we just have the Codex, which yeah, will be A lot. Though some of these I've already read, like, you know, I've read the Cabinet, I've read the, Supreme Court, which actually only has 3 here, instead of 4, which is on the other page. That's strange. Alright. Yeah, we have time. Let's go ahead and just begin with some of these. Albin Clavin. Albin Clavin is a Swordish politician who currently serves as a member of the Grand National Assembly of Swordland. He's a member of USP and regarded as leader of the Progressive Faction. Okay, we've read that. I'm just gonna... Okay. Yeah. So we've seen the Assembly already, I think. Because these are the ones in the legislation, yeah. So we've seen that. Cornath Carnier is the CEO and majority shareholder of the HOS conglomerate. He is the man who created the famous Crunchy brand, and through his highly successful business ventures and motivational quotes that inspired a generation of entrepreneurs, he always promoted victory no matter the cost approach to making a business success, which also drew criticism from those who parted ways with him on his ventures. The rise of the Heart of Swordland conglomerate is entirely on the shoulder of Cornath Crunchy, who acquired small companies in critical industries where Swordland was lagging behind. His competition and performance-oriented attitude allowed him to disrupt these industries and to dominate them. He has 5 children, whom he is said to have raised without excessive wealth and privilege. I mean, I'll believe that when I see it. Marcel Correnti, a Swordish business entrepreneur who is the son of media premier Conrad Correnti. He operates the HOS Advertising, the largest advertising company in Swordland. He is also a board member of the HOS Swordland's largest conglomerate operating in the media, energy, construction, trade, tourism industries. He previously served as chairman of HOS Resorts, a luxury hotel group with 12 destinations in 8 countries. Correnti obtained a bachelor's degree from the Prilla School of Business and a master's degree in media and communications from Harvard University in Verticity, Arcadia. In 1940, Correnti joined the Swordish Broadcasting Corporation as vice president in charge of advertising, before being transferred to HOS Resorts chain by Correnti 3 years later. He transformed HOS Resort from a leading hotel chain in Swordland into an international powerhouse through his expansion of the brand in 7 different countries. In 1950, he left HOS Resort and started operating in the HOS Advertising, the advertising company within the HOS Media Group of the HOS conglomerate. Mikkel Avin, co-chairman of the Business Council. Michael Avin, are you a person that we've already seen somewhere? Because you sound like you could be, but no. Okay. Is a Swordish businessman, economist, and statesman who served as the co-chairman of National Business Council of Swordland. Born in Likund, Agland, to an Agno-Swordish family, Avin studied economics in Lechven Business School before starting his work at Gassam. In the 1930s, he worked as a financial advisor and later as a project director at the corporation. In 1940, Avin started working at the Swordland office of the AIBC, where he contributed extensively to Agland economic planning. He gained a nationwide reputation for his work in the city of Arvory throughout the 1940s, which helped the city go through an economic boom. Avin was later transferred to OMEC's Agnolia headquarters, where he oversaw the economic guidance of small Agnolian fishing settlements to transform into major economic centers. He gained international fame for his advice, which lifted the Gibberdem from poverty, and was given the Medal for Meritorious Service by the Agnolian government. In 1949, Avin returned to Swordland by invitation from the Ministry of Economy and started his work for the government as economist. In 1950, he was appointed as the co-chairman of the National Business Group. Walter Tusk. Yeah, we've already read Walter Tusk. We know the cabinet. Curtin Lest is a Swedish politician and member of the United Swordland Party who has been serving as the mayor of Anrika since 1940. He previously served as the mayor of Binfi from 1936 to 1940. He is the longest-serving mayor in the country. Born in Anrika, Lesti family moved to Binfi for his father's career as a lawyer. Having his primary and secondary education at Binfi, he later moved to the capital to attend the Hultsfred State University after his studies. He worked as a contraparent for the Hultsfred Post newspaper. He also founded the National Nurse Association to fight against decreasing religious and moral values among the youth. In 1930, he returned to Binfi to start his own business. He manages a small seaside hotel and restaurant before joining the United Swordland Party. He started his political career when he ran as mayor for the district of Almen in Binfi and got elected. In 1936, he was elected mayor of Binfi. He organized the famous Binfi Cultural Festival as part of the Day of Dissension festivities, which brought millions of tourists to the city over the years. After the sudden death of the mayor of Anrika, Lesti was appointed by Turkish Sol as the new mayor in 1940. During his tenure as the mayor of Anrika, he promoted the city's cultural heritage sites, invested its renovated old Swedish monuments, and increased tourism greatly. His term saw the city expand greatly in size and become the logistics center of the greater Hultsfred region. He was later re-elected 3 times in a row, becoming the longest-serving mayor in the history of Swordland. Over the years, he became very popular among the Swedish nationalists and conservatives for public speeches and accomplishments as mayor. He is considered to be the most well-known mayor in all of Swordland, as well as one of the most popular figures in the United Swordland Party. Didier May. Didier May is a Swedish jurist and academic who serves as the dean of the Faculty of Law at Hultsfred State University. He graduated from Morna University Faculty of Law and received his PhD from the University of Puria in Lesbia. He later became a judge in Hultsfred Court of Civil Appeals in 1940. Main returned to his academic career in 1949 as professor of law, and later was appointed the dean of Faculty of Law in Hultsfred State University. During his service in Hultsfred State University, May became famous for his conservative practices. Despite his close ties to the United Swordland Party and the Sol administration, he wasn't appointed to the High Court of Appeals, which he allegedly has asked for numerous times. Adif Agnel is a Swedish economist and banker who serves as the chairwoman. I think we've seen you already. Edith. No, we have not. We have not seen you. People look way too similar, okay? Yeah, like, look at their... Close enough. Adif Agnok is a Swedish economist and banker who serves as the chairwoman of the Central Bank of Swordland. She's the first woman to hold that position. She also became the first woman to serve as president of the bank in the world. Agnok is known in Swordland as the adopted daughter of the first president of the Republic, Arthur S. Wincy. According to official sources, Wincy met her during his visit to Narbol. After learning her story, her miserable living conditions, and her desire to study at university, Wincy decided to adopt her and financed her education. She studied in Hultsfred State University and later finished her master's in Lascelles Business School. After General Lenin's military coup and Wincy's arrest in 1927, Agnok fled to Lesbia, where she lived until 1928. She moved to Arcadia after the death of her adopted father, Wesky, and started working at one of the largest investment firms, Crane Capital in Vitrik City. He became renowned for her economic expertise in Arcadia and later quit her job to work at the renowned global bank. In 1951, she was invited by Edward Alfonso to return to Swordland to help with the economic crisis. On her return, she was appointed to be the chairwoman of the Central Bank of Swordland. She was elected as the only female economist for the cover of the 20 greatest economists in history, published by the Eris magazine. Carl Grisker. Carl Grisser is a Swedish police officer and administrator who is the current Greater Horsens policeman chief. He assumed the position in 1950 and was sworn in by Mayor Elias Graf in public ceremony. Prior to his appointment to the position, he served as chief of police of Arvery in the 40s. Carl started his career in law enforcement with his appointment to the Arvery Police Academy in the late 1920s. After graduating the top 10% of his academy class, he was sworn in as patrolman to serve as the city who served the citizen of the downtown Arvery. In 1940, he was appointed Deputy Commissioner of the Operations. In this capacity, he improved the department's strategies and tactics for reducing crime and solving concerns of the diverse communities of Arvery. After 1947, he transferred to the capital and briefly served as Inspector and Chief Detectives before his appointment as Police Chief. Ovid Greaser. Ovid Greaser is a Swedish jurist and academician who has been serving as Deputy President of the High Court of Appeals of Swordsland. He graduated from Hultsfred State University and began his career as a judge in Binfi. Following his military service, he served in the Hultsfred District Court, later becoming a professor in the Hultsfred State University Faculty of Law. As an academic, he became renowned for his published works in Swordsland and abroad. Greaser later served in both the Hultsfred Court of Criminal Appeals and Hultsfred Court of Civil Appeals as a judge. Because of his expertise, he was appointed as a judge in the High Court of Appeals in Hultsfred in 1938 and was later elected as the Deputy President in 1946. Greaser holds no membership in any political party or movement. Despite being regarded as not being fond of soulism, he has always kept his political ideology to himself, which brought him praise for his neutrality from all sides of the political spectrum, including soulists. Felice Braun. Felice Braun is a Swedish politician who has been serving as governor of Bergia since 1941. He is a member of the United Swordsland Party. Regarded as a hardline nationalist, he's widely unpopular among the Bluish community living in Bergia. He's known for his violent policies, who he followed during the fight during the Bluish Freedom Front in the 1930s, and is generally credited as the person who arrested Dwelling Arge, the former leader of the BFF. Braun was born in Enrica, and after completing his studies at Hultsfred State University, he joined the ranks of the King's Intelligence Services. His military career began under General Edward Lardern. Initially a supporter of Lardern's coup and fighting on his side in the war, he shifted allegiance to Kurgan Sol during the Battle of Hultsfred in the Swedish Civil War. Later, Braun transitioned to politics, joining the United Swordsland Party, USP. In 1932, he took on the role of mayor of Deer. Initially a moderate on racial issues, Braun adopted a hardline nationalist stance after the Azim incident and the subsequent revolt in Bergia by the Bluish Freedom Front. Braun earned national notoriety when he stood in front of the interests of the Arch Sanctuary of Deer with armed policemen, blocking the path of Bluish tourists and not allowing them to attend the Judician Day rituals in 1934. After the formation of the Special Zone in Bergia in 1935, he was appointed as the head of the Counter-Separationism Unit in the Ministry of Interior. When Dwelling Arge declared a rebellion in Bergia in 1935, he worked extensively with the governor on the fight against the BFF. In 1941, he was appointed as the governor of the Special Zone of Bergia by President Turkin Sol. During his tenure as governor, he prompted industrial development, increased taxes, and improved regional law enforcement. He is also credited for the rest of the BFF member Dwelling Arge, due to his massive budget increase of the regional police forces and leading the operation of his capture. He was later appointed as governor again in 1947 and later in 1953 by President Elwin Alfonso, retaining his position as governor. Vulcan Kruger. Vulcan Kruger is a Swedish 4-star general, the current chief of the Swedish Armed Forces and the chief of the Swedish General Staff. He previously served as the chairman and the chief of staff of Army High Command and the second chief of Army Staff of the Swedish Army. He is the longest serving and the second most decorated officer in Swordsland. Kruger served in the Imperial Army before 1923, holding position as colonel and mayor. In 1927, he supported General Luder's military coup, but later turned against him after Luder's mass executions in 1928. He was among the group of officers organized under Colonel Sol in the Swedish Civil War. In 1929, Kruger was appointed by Brigadier General and a member of the Swedish General Staff. He became famed for his military victory in 1933 along the Welland border, where his smaller brigade destroyed an entire rebel army in the Battle of Suzerain. He was later awarded with the White Star by Turkin Sol, the highest medal that can be bestowed upon an individual by the Swedish Armed Forces. Vulcan was one of the key supporters of Turkin Sol during the 30s and 40s. He became the Chief of Armed Forces in 1945, becoming the oldest person to hold the title. We've seen the Supreme Court. We'll continue on with former presidents and go through and continue in the next episode. But I hope you enjoyed, and if you did, like, comment, subscribe, and hit the bell button. And as always, peace.